by personnel from Major Crime Investigation Branch and Crime Gang Task Force under the auspices of Operation Persist, arrested 5 offenders for murder and 1 offender for assisting offenders in connection with the murder of Jason De Ieso in 2012. This investigation's been conducted in complete secrecy for the last 17 months and started in January 2018. I'm limited in what I can say, but I'll tell you as much as I can without compromising any future trials. I will point out to everybody that we are applying for a suppression order on their names and images on Monday when the offenders appear in court, and that's so that we don't compromise some further investigation which needs to be undertaken in the coming week. By way of background, I'll remind you that it was 1:43 p.m. on Wednesday, the 21st of December in 2012, when 9 men stormed into Unique Paint and Panel at 17 Langford Street, Pooraka, which is a business owned and operated by Jason De Ieso. Jason was 33 years old at the time and had no connection that we've been able to identify with criminality or gang life. Jason's only mistake was in being a loyal person. He maintained a friendship with a childhood friend throughout his life, and that person went on to become a fink, and that relationship ultimately cost Jason his life. On the day Jason was killed, we'll allege that the offenders first went to the Lords of Ink tattoo parlour at 116 Diamond Road at Salisbury North, where a number of people at the premises were assaulted and property caused. The offenders were driving a white Mazda sedan and a white Nissan Pulsar. Later on that day at about 4:45 p.m, a witness saw the Mazda being driven at high speed along a dirt road near Kangarilla, followed by a dark-coloured Holden Commodore. A short time later, the Commodore was seen going back in the opposite direction, and the Mazda was found burnt out shortly afterwards. It's well publicised that the motive for this murder is believed to be ongoing gang conflict at the time between the Hells Angels and the Finks, and that had culminated the night before with a Molotov cocktail attack attempting to burn a house at 12 Rosecombe Street, Parafield Gardens. I can tell you that those who perpetuated this murder were actually blaming the wrong person in the Fink member they believed it was. That person, we believe, wasn't involved. So not only did they have the wrong person, they then killed an innocent person because of stupid gang violence. There was a large investigation team at the time who worked tirelessly over a considerable period of time, and unfortunately they were unable to solve the investigation at that time. But what they were able to establish was the identity of all of those 9 offenders and a number of people who have assisted those offenders either before or since the homicide. At the time, there was insufficient evidence to arrest those offenders, and for a period the investigation stalled and wasn't able to be progressed. We say that all of those offenders were either members or close associates of the Hells Angels North crew. We believe Jason's friend left the workshop about 10 minutes earlier, prior to the offenders coming to the workshop and killing Jason. In January 2018, a core group of investigators was pulled together from Crime Gang Task Force, who have specialist experience, obviously, in investigating gangs, and a group of people from Major Crime Investigation Branch. And they've worked tirelessly and secretly over the last 17 months, reviewing every aspect of the case. And today was the day we were able to become overt in our investigation. Shortly after 8 a.m, there were a number of raids initiated, and they continued throughout the day. 2 men were arrested in Adelaide this morning for murder, and a female on the Gold Coast in Queensland. I understand she'll be appearing in the Southport Magistrates Court today, and we hope to extradite her to South Australia tomorrow. Over 100 officers were involved in the raids and searches throughout the day, and this afternoon 3 other offenders were arrested, all brothers from the same family, and they were arrested, the last of them perhaps 15 or 20 minutes ago. So of those arrested this morning was a 34-year-old man from Lightsview who was arrested at Beverley, a 30-year-old man from Clovelly Park was arrested at his home, a 31-year-old man from Goodwood, a 28-year-old man from Mile End, and a 26-year-old man from St Maurice were the three brothers arrested this afternoon, all at their home addresses, and all have been charged at the City Watch House. All of those arrested people will appear in the Adelaide Magistrates Court on Monday, where obviously we would be opposing bail. Detectives will be working hard in the ensuing period to build a case against the other three suspects who are known to us and a number of other accomplices. One of the 9 responsible for the murder has committed suicide in the years between the murder and now. And I'd just like to emphasise that despite the arrest today, this is very much the start of what will be a long and challenging investigation. Our appeal today is to those people who have information about Jason's murder. Jason's family are good, decent people, and we want to solve this case for them, and they very much want everyone involved arrested and prosecuted. So to those people who have knowledge of what happened and who've either withheld information, perhaps been untruthful, or who somehow or other were unwittingly or reluctantly caught up in this because of pressure from people, I'd encourage you to come forward before it's too late. It's time to pick a side. The penalty for assisting an offender in a murder is up to 10 years imprisonment, or you can do what's right and just and come forward and help the police because you want to help Jason's family, as I said, who are good, decent people. There are 2 detectives from Operation Persist on the Gold Coast, and they will do the extradition tomorrow. This evening, from 4 o'clock until 9 p.m, there'll be 2 detectives from Operation Persist working in the Crime Stoppers call centre. I'd encourage anybody with information to contact us. I understand that some people may be fearful of reprisals if they contact us or have concerns about their safety. I would encourage you to pick up the phone and ring Crime Stoppers tonight and ask to talk to an Operation Persist detective, and those people will be able to speak to you and provide you with good advice. I'm happy to take questions.
Why was it important to keep this 17-month-long operation secret?
Because operationally sometimes there's jobs where you want it to be out in the public straight away and you want everybody to know, and in other jobs it provides you an advantage over the offenders to keep it secret for as long as you can. So we've been working secretly and quietly building a brief against those people, and today would be the first hint any of these offenders have had of anything that was coming.
Was it information from the community or just your own investigation that was finally led to the...
I won't go into what information it was or where it came, but it's basically from an enormous amount of hard work back in 2012, but certainly since January last year. The detectives have worked extremely hard on this, the intelligence people, everybody involved in the investigation has done a really good job.
And all 6 arrested members of the Hells Angels?
No, the 5 men are members or associates of the Hells Angels, and the woman is obviously an associate.
You obviously have spoken to Jason's family. Can you give us an idea of what this means to finally have these arrests?
This is an enormous moment for their family. They're obviously grateful, but as I said, they want everybody who had anything to do in this to be held accountable for what they did. So the appeal today is really from Jason's family for those involved who may not be directly responsible for the killing, but around the edges will have information to come forward and do it for Jason's family. Even if you don't like the police, do it for Jason's family because they're good people.
Do you hope that this puts an end to these kind of infighting between bikie groups?
This sort of behaviour is just absolutely stupid and ridiculous. It destroys the families of the victims, and these people now would face decades in prison if convicted. It's just mindless, stupid violence.
What message does it send making these arrests 7 years after the crime?
To anybody who's committed homicides or any of these terrible crimes, the fact that you may appear to get away with it initially certainly doesn't mean you'll get away with it forever, and we will do everything humanly possible and always do the best we can to make sure that we solve every homicide.
Can you tell us if Jason's friend who left the business shortly before these men arrived, are you aware whether he had knowledge that he was potentially a target and has got away just in time, or is that just happenstance that he happened to leave just before they arrived?
I don't think there's anything sinister in him leaving. I think he happened to leave 10 minutes earlier to go somewhere else, probably in response to what happened at the tattoo parlour.
The further arrests that you're talking about, the 3 people, one who is passed, those 2 arrests, are they expected to happen in the coming days?
We're working to build a brief against those people, and it may take some time, but we're very happy with the way the investigation's going.
Are they both located in Adelaide?
There's 3.
3? Oh, was
Yep.
one of them committed suicide?
No, there's 9 people altogether.
Right.
Final questions, please.
The woman that's been arrested, at the time there was some suggestion there was a woman in the getaway car that she went missing for a little bit. Is there any suggestion she is that woman?
I won't talk about specifics for that woman.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
ladies and gentlemen.